In this video, I tried a V13 for 11 sessions, and before getting into them, I'm gonna show you a breakdown of the boulder, including the 30 plus moves that were involved. The first move is far to the left on a flat undercling, followed by a back flag to flip the right hand to a good crimp, to then match the feet on the first hold, bring back the left hand into the first scoop and bumping it straight away to the next one. The feet need to be readjusted to toe hook the undercling to be able to create the tension to match the scoop. After readjusting on the sloper, the left hand goes into this in-cut crimp. The right foot goes high up to the right side, and then the crux move is to hold both crimps while cut loosing in a very high Gaston position. And while holding it, the scorpion move with the feet help to control the swing. You then have to kick a far toe hook on the other angle, match it, kick it higher, match it again. And while holding the toe hooks, you bring back the left hand in a pretty flat hold, and then bump the right hand into the other side. Bring the left hand to the crimp, big heel hook on the right side, powerful move into a terribly flat hold, bring back the left hand, awkward heel hook on the left side while holding the other one, reaching for the arête on the wall, bumping multiple times to the jib on the arête, bringing a right heel hook up, and finally a big powerful move into the last hold, a hold that is pretty flat, finishing off with a match that's a lot harder than it looks. Anyways, let's get into session 1. First of all, I was trying the beginning section, which ended on the crimp on the left, and I would say this beginning section is very technical because you have to place your hands really well because, like I showed you, the holds are terrible, and basically the toe hooks need to be very well placed if you don't want to slip. So I would say that this beginning section is around V9 because of its technical difficulty. So on my first session, I also tried the ending section, starting off with this compression, and this section is full of powerful compressions on really bad holds, and the moves are big. So I would say that this section does not go underneath V9 or V10, especially because of this last move that is super powerful. On my second session, I was picking up where I left last time, which was trying this last move that I dropped a couple of times. And as you'll see here, my feet are not placed too well to go to the last hold. So what I found out is that the left foot needs to be in a toe hook position so I have more reach and keep the tension to go to the last hold. And my match was with a heel hook, but that'll change in a couple of sessions. After sticking the last move, the obvious thing for me was to try all of the ending section, and by keeping the left toe hook on the left side, I could finally get the last move and link the last section completely. So I was pretty happy with that link. On session 3, that's where I started cooking. I tried the middle section, which was obviously the hardest section of the boulder, starting off with this hard Gaston move that I fail so many times. So this was probably like a V10 move already. Then this toe hook section, that was a lot of core involved, and to place 4 toe hooks, it was really demanding. And finally, the transition to the right side, I messed it up so many times, but surprisingly, it wasn't very hard physically, it was mostly a technical move. So right here we have my friend Arnaud, and he's doing this middle section by switching his hand and making it look super easy. But for me, look at this, I am not fitting on the box for some reason, and I tried this move so many times, I tried to make it work, but the hold is pretty bad and I just couldn't hold the hand switch. So this beta was not for me, and we can confirm it here again with my other friend Jean-Michel, and he's making this middle section look like a joke. So I think it was a box issue, but I don't know, it was just not fitting for me. And after trying it a couple of times and falling like on my back every time, I was like, okay, there has to be another way. And right here in this attempt, I decided to go straight to the right side, and even though my swing was pretty bad, I knew that it was possible, and even though I didn't realize it yet, that's the way I did it on my sand go. On session 4, I decided to try the boulder from the beginning since I had figured out every move last session, and I finally could stick this Gaston move that caused me so much trouble and could get into this middle section with the toe hooks. The only problem is that I didn't figure out yet that I could just bump to the right side, so I tried this method like my friends did, and it was just not working because I had no tension. And that's what I did on session 5 also. I tried it a couple of times, and obviously I knew that it was not gonna work for me. So I decided to try it again from the start, and instead of doing the beta that my two friends were doing, I just decided to go straight up to the arête, and it finally worked. So from the start, I linked it to the beginning of the last section, so that was a pretty huge link. And I was so pumped right here. I remember I was like, alright, I'm just gonna give it all. I know it's not gonna send, but at least I want to get a high point. On session number 6, unfortunately, I was coming back from sick days, so I was feeling incredibly weak, and I could not stick this Gaston move from the start, so I was really just making no progress. It just felt like it was going backwards. But instead of going home, I at least tried it a couple of times, gave it some fight, but obviously it was just not doing anything because I was not getting this Gaston move. So sometimes you just gotta accept that you have these sessions that you feel very weak and there's nothing to do about it. On session 7, I had the pleasure to try the V13 with David Trudeau, a super strong competition climber back in the day, and in this clip he was giving it his first attempt, and watch this. On his flash attempt, he destroyed the move that caused me trouble for like 6 sessions, and that obviously motivated me to try harder and to just commit to the hard Gaston move. So honestly, I said it before and I'll say it again, climbing with strong people really motivates yourself to try harder and obviously to get different perspective on the moves. Alright, so from the beginning I'm back here at this ending section, and unlike session 5, instead of going directly to the arête, I placed a heel hook, and that way it's really easy to go into the arête. But then this move is so pumpy from the start, and on session 8 I did figure out something else. If you watch my feet, you can see that this compression is not too good and it doesn't take too much weight off out of my arms. So it's really all on the arms, and I had to do something else, which was to switch the heel hook to the toe hook, and that way I could easily bump to the arête on the small jib. And then the last move was another problem, but at least I figured out that on session 8. So it was really a game changer beta, and honestly the only thing that was missing is more energy to commit to the last hold, which by the way took me like 3 more sessions to get. On session 9, I had high hopes because last session I got to the last hold and I was like, okay, just a little more commitment and I can get it. But here I have like 1 centimeter away from touching the last hold, and it's getting so close, but I could not get the reach, and I fell 3 times that session on the last move, so it was heartbreaking, but at least I know I could get the reach if I pushed a little harder with my heel hook. On session 10, I was like, okay, this is enough. I tried this boulder already too much, and boom, I finally hit the last move. And it's supposed to be over, right? But unfortunately, I missed the match, and as you see on the left side, I used to place the heel hook by just simply getting the toe hook off. But on the right side, you see that my left toe hook is sticking too much and I can't get it off. And by the time I was trying to get it off, my right heel hook just slipped. Again, very, very unfortunate, and in my head I was like, okay, it can't get possibly any closer than that. And right here, instead of putting the heel hook, I decided to just match with the toe hook, and I was wrong, it can get closer. I had my 2 hands on the last hold, but my forearm was so pumped, and my position was not stable, so I could not get a match. In this clip, my friend Jeremy was the only one to get as far as me into this boulder, and like me, he was not controlled on the match, so he did not send the boulder. T'étais chill à la fin, c'était contrôlé?
Non.
Non! Non! T'es sérieux? Oh, il faut que tu le refasses.
Ideally.
Oh non! So, I showed you every strong climber that was trying this boulder, and the one filming me right now on my send is Hugo Valence, the only one to send this boulder with me. And my friend Jeremy, like you just saw, was super close, like he messed up the match, but he didn't try the boulder too much afterwards. So let's watch my send go. This beginning section, I probably did it more than 100 times. I think I could have done this blindfolded, and honestly, it was annoying because the first section was not really hard, but it took so much energy for the rest of the boulder. So I had to be very efficient and to not waste any energy on any small detail. So I finally get to this middle section and transition to the right side. And I think this was like the 4th attempt of the day, so I didn't have much energy. And I rested like 50 minutes to do this attempt. And it sure paid off because I had a lot of energy to do this last move and I finally stuck it, and my friend Jeremy brushed the last hold, so it was actually finally holdable and I could get a controlled match. With 11 sessions in this boulder, there was only 4 days left before this boulder got reset. So I had to be super efficient with my attempts because I had a maximum of 3 or 4 attempts per session, and that was it. I had to go home after that because I had no energy left. So this boulder was so incredibly to my limit of my endurance that honestly I could give it V13, like very soft, since this was the hardest thing I've ever done, but I still have no idea what the grade could really be. I just know that it was incredibly hard. So I really hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll leave you with some bloopers to show you how we filmed these incredible shots.
T'aurais pu faire un beau swing au moins là? That was juicy!
Ah!
Here we go again! Long schlong monkey. Okay, let's go. Wait!
Okay.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay. Look at this dude. Ah, t'as peu? Ouais.
Oh, no.
Don't drop it. Don't fucking drop it. No, he's not.
Ah!
Yes!
Oh my god.
Just like.
Quel désastre. Quel désastre.
Look at this dude.